Mr. Berkeley Duffy. Hey guys. Next up, the one and only Clary Frey, Miss. Up next is the man with the ascot himself, Mr. Luke Arroway, Isaiah Mustafa. And last but not least, Alec Lightwood, Mr. Matthew Goddard. Okay, so I'm going to ask them a couple questions, but if you would like to ask some questions from the cast, we've got a microphone up here and over here. Go ahead and start lining up, and we'll get to as many as we can in the time we have. We're running already. Hold on, I'm going to throw a question at you first about Beyond. It feels like the show has a very 80s adventure movie vibe throughout the whole thing. Like through the point where you're a 13-year-old, and even when you go back to waking up 12 years later. Was that intentional?
I think partially. I mean, the tone of it, especially at the beginning, was meant to be quite a disparity from how the 21st sort of century when he wakes up is, especially. It's sort of one more difference to the world and the tone, and sort of the beginning of the pilot that is a stark difference from when he wakes up, and it's sort of to show the difference that he has to take on in this new world that he's woken up into.
Fantastic. I'm going to ask the three of you the same question. We've experienced alternate dimensions. If we were to revisit them, and I'm not going to say whether we are in season 2 or not, what would you want to see that alternate dimension look like?
We discussed this, huh?
Matt, we don't let you talk.
Project, sir.
Okay.
There.
We discussed this a lot. This is one of our favorite pastimes on set, is to discuss what kind of alternate universes we'd like to travel to. And I think we've come up with all different kinds. We've talked about one where we all sing. It's like it's a
Musical episode.
musical universe.
Yeah. There's no speaking, only singing.
Shadowhunters and Outer Space.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna address the elephant in the room and just say that.
Sing!
Well, I don't sing, but Matt does. We'll get to that. But I think we'd all like to see an alternate universe where Luke runs the Institute. And he never became a werewolf. I think that's.
I mean, I'd be happy just going back to the alternate universe we were in season 1. I kind of like that universe. I mean, minus the whole like demon and all that. You know, that was a lot.
Fantastic. Well, let's just start right over here with the first question.
Okay, first of all of you guys look great today.
Thank you.
And then Matt, you are my favorite human being on this planet. And then I wanted to know what your favorite thing about your character is, all of you.
Matt, do you want to start us off? Or do you want to go last?
I'll go first. My favorite thing about Alec, you know, that's I think that there's a lot of things I like about Alec, and I think that it's nice to see someone who is so interested in doing what's right, but struggles with it so much, because it's not easy. And this season, though, we're going to see him do things that are hard for him, and I think he grows a lot. So I like that about him. I think you guys are going to enjoy watching him get through some problems, deal with some issues.
I enjoyed watching you get through some problems.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
I don't know. I'm going to think about that. What my favorite thing about him is.
Matt went real deep with his answer, but I am going to stay aesthetic for you, and I think Luke's green eyes are my favorite.
Something I love about Clary is that she is so well-intentioned all the time, and yet it's one of the most relatable things about her. She's so well-intentioned, and yet time and time again, she just messes up. She tries so hard to do the right thing, but the shadow world's really complicated. But you know, through it all, through all the ups and downs, which she goes through a lot of this season, she always has this ember of undying hope, and this willingness to believe that everything is going to be okay in the end. And that's what gets her through it all. And in those moments of doubt, she has other people to carry her through. But that little ember is something I think we all need to hold on to.
Well said. For Holden, yeah, I think it's, I think as you sort of witness, I think it's his sense of discovery and his sort of curiosity to the world. There's so many things that he's missed and he wants to be a part of. And I think some of the fun parts of the show that we will dive into more is sort of seeing him stumble through those new experiences, which I think is really fun and quite relatable too.
Let's bring it on over here.
Okay, so first of all, you all look really nice tonight. And
You guys are so sweet.
And I'm so glad that you came to Colorado. Beyond was really good, and I'm
Thank you.
definitely going to keep watching it, and you're a great actor.
Thank you very
And
much.
my question is, what kind of fun things you do on set to like keep occupied when you're not shooting scenes?
Yeah, there's we are a really tight-knit cast, so I'm assuming like these guys get on really well, and so I'd say that a lot of it is hanging out on set, you know, and having fun talking to crew and cast, and really just getting to know each other and sort of talking about the scenes. And when you get to work with the talented people like I get to do on my show, it's really fun sort of crafting those scenes together and having a fun time acting.
Well, guys, what do we do to have fun on set?
What don't we do?
That is true. True statement. We laugh so much all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like there's those days that you spend, you go into the makeup trailer and you're sitting in there talking to all of them, and you're in there for like 3 hours, and you're like, what's going on? When am I going to say? You're just chatting. A lot of chatting with each other. And playing with the cats, that became a thing.
There's a boxing gym though at the studio, so sometimes you can find Alberto, Dom, or either Kat or him or anybody in there at any time, punching bags.
Or each other. Mostly bags.
Right.
Let's bring it right over here.
Alright. Hi, so first of all, thank you guys so much for coming out and love both of the shows. They're so great. I think I'm directing my question to Matt. So you mentioned your character growing up, I guess. When are they gonna let you like wear the beard? In
Oh baby, you are just you're saying all the right things. This, first of all, Alec is never going to be wearing a beard. You know what I mean? No, again, the other kind of beard. But he will certainly have the opportunity, and I will be discussing it with everyone to get this beard on there. I know it's sort of like a 50-50 thing, because I've heard some people say that they're not huge fans of it.
Who out there is pro beard?
I was gonna
I
It's
think,
looking pretty good for you
is
guys.
somebody recording this? Send this to Freeflow. This is our boss lady, one of our boss ladies, and she's gonna send it along and say that I get to have a beard next season.
Matt, on the subject of politics, just thank you so much for like the representation that you're providing to the LGBT communities.
That's anything that I can do. Please tell me if I'm doing something wrong.
Hi.
Okay. So obviously Shadowhunters is based on the book. So how close is the second season going to be to the book?
Ooh, that's an
We're
interesting
gonna
question.
rip this bandit off a little bit.
Yeah, it's not close hardly at all.
No, it is. Okay.
It is and it's not.
It follows the
Yeah.
same. We're going to follow a similar. Okay, a lot of stuff from the books comes up. It's a constantly. You're going to see it in every episode. You're going to say, "Oh, this is from the books. It's from the books."
Yeah.
But there is a lot of stuff that deviates. I think all for the better. A lot of it was monitored by Cassie Clare,
Yeah.
who was highly involved in that process. So
She was involved and she was
she approved
enthusiastic.
it. Enthusiastic about it. It's I think it's beneficial to see some new material. That's my opinion. But please, again, the internet is your forum to actively complain about things you don't like, or tell us things you do like.
I mean, there are pieces that are taken almost directly from the books. There are character elements, there are little things that we do bring directly from the books, but there are also some twists that you guys will not see coming.
Yes.
Now you see, you never have to worry about this.
That's true.
I know.
Because yours is an original thing.
We don't have books. There are no Beyond books. So,
Yet.
So they
Yet.
won't get on, they won't say, they'll say we just love what you're doing.
They'll just say, that was cool, or I hope so.
Yeah.
I can tell you this: there will be episodes that you are going to be genuinely riveted to your seat, and you will be like, your mouth will drop, and you will go, "Oh my gosh!" Trust me. Trust me.
I mean, when I was reading the
Episode
script.
6 that I'm going to be sitting on, is it 6?
Oh, it's six.
yeah.
Oh, there are a lot of episodes in the
A
first
lot of
half
good
that are
episodes in those
crazy.
first 10 that you're just going to be like, "What?"
But listen, I mean, even when we were reading the scripts, our jaws were dropping to the floor. We're like, wait, can we actually do this? Is this real? Are they gonna do this?
Oh, there was a
And we
lot of
did.
that. Like, how is that allowed? Oh,
Like,
man.
yeah.
There's some, oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, here we go again. Okay.
Well, we've also got a character coming in from the books this season, don't we?
We have a couple. We have a couple new characters. We have Alder Tree, who you guys got to see in this first
Like, he's
episode.
sort of...
He's mentioned in the
big
books.
one? Who's the big
Maya.
one?
Maya's the big
Maya.
one.
What about Sebastian?
He is coming
Second
at
half.
some point, but we don't know anything about him yet.
The second 10 episodes is what we've been told.
Yes.
I don't know what happened.
And that's all we know. But we're excited. Thank you.
Hello.
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 I just want to say thank you guys for your representation of LGBT just relationships. My friend Brooke, who just asked a question, actually got me into the show because of the good LGBT representation, so thank you. And my question is for Isaiah. What kind of cologne does your character wear? Is it
What a well-structured question. Well, I'm gonna have to say Luke. You know, I don't think Luke's a cologne guy, but I mean, if he wears anything, I'd say Old Spice would be his answer. But that's just me saying that. I don't know.
Thank you for asking that question because I didn't want to ask it.
Hi guys, I just
Hi.
want to say I love you so much, and I flew here from Chicago for you guys.
Welcome. Thank you.
My question is, how can you relate? Like, what can you relate to your character the most?
Why don't we start with Berkeley?
Relate to Mike. I think there's a lot of things that I can relate to Holden. I sort of touched on it before, but you'll see throughout the season there's a lot of cool firsts that he has. Like you saw him driving a car that didn't go so well, and many other of his firsts. So I would say sort of the way that as we all grow up and we find ourselves in awkward situations, or maybe didn't handle something as well as we could have, I'd say that's something I kind of relate to him in, and the way that he understands and sort of goes through these situations.
Yeah, and actually to that point, I think it's kind of a parallel between both of our shows, is that yes, we have all of these supernatural elements and we have all of these crazy situations, but really a lot of these characters are just growing up and they're trying to navigate this world as adults. And that's something that Clary actually goes through a lot in this season. Now that her mother's back, you got to see it a little bit there, her mother still sees her as the little girl that she was in episode 1 of last season. But Clary's changed. She's not that person anymore. So getting her mother to see her as more of an adult, as more of a shadow hunter, is a huge obstacle for her.
Yeah, I'd have to say being a dad and being Clary's like dad.
You know the dad that she recognizes.
Yeah, thank you. Well, he's not here to kill us all. So,
I can take him.
But I'd have to say that I can relate to my daughter not listening to me the same way Luke can relate to Clary not listening to him at times. So,
How old is your daughter?
16.
In 11 days.
She's awesome.
I think for Alec, it's realizing that maybe that happiness doesn't come necessarily from duty or responsibility or doing what other people need you to do or what you think they need you to do. It's something more nebulous and difficult to define, and it comes from many things in life. And he's sort of realizing that, as we all do,
hopefully eventually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said.
Hi, this is for Kat. Do any of you pull pranks on set?
Oh. No, there are many pranks on set. Not so much this season. There haven't been that many. There were a couple last day. Oh no, there was one that happened. Dom and Alberto had a prank war on set one day. It was very funny.
Is this the one where someone stole my idea?
Was that your idea?
I don't know, I'm not sure what you're referencing.
I'll tell you later. It was very funny, but that's part of the fun of our show, is that we are so close as a cast that we are comfortable enough with each other to mess around a little bit, to have a little bit of fun. And because so many of the elements of our show are so heavy, it's nice to have that levity behind the scenes. I mean, I think the closest thing to a prank that happens is somebody will catch somebody else's eye and there will be a flicker of a giggle, then it becomes an eruption, and then we have to take a minute and breathe before we can continue.
Non-stop giggles.
Excuse me.
When you get going, you get going.
Oh, when I get going, I get going. So I know I'm not the first one to break.
No,
Let's
Dom
be
is
real.
always the first one to break.
Do you think you can sign my book, if that's okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh! Like, are you guys sign it? Oh my god!
Pass it down and we'll bring it over.
The next
Let's
question.
go ahead.
Okay, so this one's for Matt, and this is because since you're portraying a character that is part of the LGBT community, what was your biggest fear taking on that role? Because for some actors, when they take on roles that are like that, they kind of have fear, so what were your greatest ones and why?
Doing it wrong. The largest concern is that you're going to fall into the traps that I've seen in other shows. You will display stereotypes or how we perceive the LGBT community to be. And my concern was that we do something that fell into some kind of presentation that wasn't real, or that people couldn't actually relate to. Something that instead was what we all kind of think of people as. It's the stereotypes. And it required a lot of research and paying attention to carefully evaluating the material, and Harry and I tried to do that, and the writers tried to do that. And also a big one, another big one. People have a tendency to tell their own sort of stories, and your own story is never really that of the larger group. So you try to do something that people can relate to without becoming too locked into what it is you see. So you have to always be considering other people.
Let's take the next question.
I just like when Matt talks for a long time.
I don't know. I mean, tell me.
I just lose concentration of everything. I just like staring at him. I know you guys do too.
Hi.
Hi.
So my one question is, if there's one thing that you could change about your character, what would it be and why?
Who wants to start?
You can start, yes. Go for it.
Oh, hot seat, will you? Fine, fine.
I think for you, it's you don't want to go into that coma.
I like being awake. It's a lot more fun to act. They actually filmed me for 12 years being asleep. They didn't use any of it. It was crazy. No. Exactly, being awake's good.
I wish Clary would listen more sometimes. She gets a lot of good advice from a lot of people incessantly, and if she would just listen and maybe take some of that advice from time to time, her life would be a whole lot easier, and so would everyone else's. Sorry, guys.
That's all good. I wish Luke would just lose his temper once.
I like Alec flaws and all.
Can I get a hug from Matthew?
Let's go on to the next question over here.
So I love you guys all, and I was kind of wondering, this is kind of like the last question, was there any kind of times where you were mad at like the way your character reacted to a certain situation?
All the time, of course. You always want to grab him by the neck and go, what are you doing? Do this right. Don't do what you're doing. You're being stupid. This is not the right decision. I mean, look at Luke. Luke's out there. He's all worked up about things.
All day.
I think it's also because we obviously reading the scripts and knowing everyone else's perspective, we understand beyond the character's understanding of in the world what's going on and what it means to say yes or no to a certain situation. So it is, as we said, very common where you're like, but if you just went with them, it'd be fine, and they're running off the other way. So it definitely is that sort of frustration you get with your own characters.
I mean, there will be times where I'm reading a script. I'm like, no, just don't say that. Just listen. No, okay, fine, go on. I'll catch up with you later.
Sometimes Luke will pick the wrong equipment that comes back to camp.
Yeah, that can be a certain shocking result, can't it?
Can my friend and I get a picture with you guys?
Of course, yeah.
That's a great question.
Here, you stand there.
Okay.
What, do you want one of us to hold?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, that's so cute.
You're like a fan.
Yeah, the best one.
Yeah.
Rock solid panda.
Woo!
Heck yeah, Rob.
I took a few.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, I love you a lot. So my question is kind of spoilery, so I don't know if you can answer it, but like in terms of the books, how is it gonna be cut? Because like between City of Ashes and City of Glass, because like Sebastian's only in City of Glass.
Right, so this is kind of what we do. We bring in, the skeleton of the story is, for the most part, is very similar to the books. But then we bring in elements of all of the books. Some of the things we didn't do in book 1 we bring in, or the things that we've left out of book 2. Or there are things from books 4, 5, and 6 that we bring forward. And that's kind of what's nice about having the freedom of a TV series, is to be able to switch up the timelines and say, okay, well, what would happen, how would the characters react if this happened before this, or if this happened instead of this?
Okay. Thank you.
It's like looking at a picture as opposed to looking at a hologram. Explain. Go ahead and ruminate on that for a while.
Ruminate on that?
Ruminate.
And then, can I have a hug from Matthew too?
He does give good hugs, let's be real. Yes, that's you! It's all you, baby.
I'm getting down again. Here I go.
Oh, God.
What kind of routines do you get in to like become your characters, if you have any?
I was just thinking of Isaiah before. She yelling. Officially.
Oh yeah, wait, let Isaiah tell how he gets
Isaiah, tell him your story.
It's okay.
Regale us.
So I start with the coffee. Many of you have seen how I do that. If you haven't, it's online. You can go check it out. And then I stare myself in the face in the mirror, and I say, "Gladiator, are you ready?" And at that point, it's weird. Everything just kind of happens, and then I just fling the door open, and I run past Matt's door, and I knock on it, and run, and then I get to set and do my thing.
I think for me, a lot of it has to do with looking like the character and the time that takes. Because with the runes and everything else, we all spend a lot of time in hair and makeup. And I'll go in the morning, and eventually we chat with everybody, as we said, and hang out for a little bit, listen to some music, and at a certain point, I'll look up in the mirror and I'll go, oh, there she is. And then that just kind of starts the ball rolling.
Yeah, certainly, we can't say too. There's parts where it's a very social setting on, I feel like, both sets. But there are times when you sort of take at least before I'll go on, I'll take a breath, or I'll take a moment, and I just you get yourself in the headspace of where did this character once again, where did he come from, where's he going, what's he doing, and it's just sort of centering yourself in that moment for that character to really make sure you're driving that scene the direction that it's supposed to kind of go. So just sort of taking that beat.
Yeah, you take a moment, you push yourself aside, and then the character.
Well, I think that was also a good point. This is a different thing, but you show up and you get that clothing on, and you get the rune on, and you're in that space, and it's like it gets you there.
Especially our sets now. This year
Yeah.
they've been all redesigned and they're so much more grand and more immersive. And we walk into this, I get lost in the Institute set all the time. And as we're walking around there, it kind of takes over. You get lost in that world a little bit.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We're getting short on time, so we're not yet. A couple more questions, but I want to set expectations properly. Let's go over here.
Hey Matt, I
Hi.
feel like the most important question that has to be asked is, do you have a favorite breed of cow?
So, yes, the Shetland cow is one of the more beautiful and more luxurious of the cows. And I think that has always been my favorite. But at the same time, a standard dairy cow with some kind eyes is a real good option. And you can really, you can get into this. And there are some more majestic ones. It's a world. There's a lot of cows out there.
Wow, you.
That's cruel.
Hi, I love you guys so much, but my question is, thank you. If you had to cross over with another TV show, what would it be?
Beyond.
Beyond.
Shadowhunters.
Hey, Freeform, we made that happen.
Right? There's dimensions.
There's dimensions.
There's dimensions.
We're like, what are you all worked up
Come to
about?
New York, right?
Right?
We're like, oh yeah, you've got problems, okay.
Guys, cool tattoos.
Watch out! Can I get a picture with you guys?
Yeah.
I wrote my character as Matt.
Everybody's holding it.
There we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm sorry, but this is more directed towards the Shadowhunters cast, but it's kind of like a two-part question. Okay. First of all, have you guys read all the books, and also do you ever take any cues or inspiration from like the book characters, or do you prefer more make the characters your own?
This is something, we have a lot of different points of view within our cast about that, but I love that we have that variety. So some of us have read all the books, and I'm one of those people. I fell in love with the books, I fell in love with the story, and I really couldn't put it down. And there's, for me, with Clary, there's little details, because a lot of it's from her perspective. So the way that she looks at someone, and the little details that she notices about them, whether it's like Jace's eyes, or his hair, or a hole in Alex's sweater, or something about the way Simon's smirk looks, or whatever it ends up being, that informs what I do. But there is enough of a difference between the books that it allows us to do some of our own thing too. What do you guys think?
Well, I have downloaded the Shadowhunters Wiki app.
There's an app?
Well, some of us are technologically inclined.
Yeah, not me.
And anytime I have a question, I refer to it. So that's kind of how and then also sometimes I'll email Cassie and ask her questions. From the source. I get it from the source, Matt.
From the source.
No, I think the characters came from the books, and that's where I based who the person was off of. But things change in the show, and I adapted based off what I think he'd be doing in those moments. So he's a book character first, and then he's slowly growing through the show.
Yeah. And Cassie's visited set, so you can always ask her a question.
Yeah.
If you really have a question, you can be like, so what do you think he's doing?
I think all the characters have grown a lot, and they've all changed a lot, and that's kind of, there's this stark difference between the first and second season.
Oh, okay.
And then, sorry to disturb you again.
But the second part, yes, of course.
Well, no. My friends and I get a picture with you guys.
Yes. The answer is yes.
I like
Hello. Gotta get our squats in, right?
Okay, Matthew gets cards. Matthew gets gifts. Because 'cause he's Matthew. You do sing.
Look, he's singing.
My good lord.
Are we in the same dimension, or did we go beyond?
Who's up?
We got one more question left.
Oh my gosh, hi.
Hi.
Hello. What's your connection if you didn't get to ask?
Don't freak out.
Okay, so
It's okay.
this one's gonna be an intricate one because I'm needy and selfish and I need a lot.
We're ready. Give it to us.
Okay, so first of all, this is my parabatai Abigail.
Hello.
And so
Abigail.
we had a question about that. We were wondering if the parabatai bond between Jace and Alec is a really important thing during the season.
The parabatai bond is important in every season and will be till the end of time as long as I have any say in the matter. And I think it's very evident throughout the season that the two characters, obviously the great parabatai bond, is very important to them and affects them constantly. In fact, it's a primary motivator in a lot of what Alec does and a lot of what Jace does. So we do see that a lot, even though often it's from afar, which is where some of the struggle comes from.
Yeah, I think you're going to get a lot of parabatai information from every character who's had a parabatai.
Dun dun dun.
Thank you folks so much for coming out.
The second part of the question. Okay,
We're not done.
multiple parts. Sorry, I'm selfish and needy. Okay, I was wondering, this might be a lot of stuff, but like, can you sign this front and back for me and my parabatai?
Okay.
Of course.
And then can we get a picture? And then can I get a hug from Matt? Sorry.
The Holy Trinity of fans and questions, of course.
Holy Trinity.
I want a hug from Isaiah.
Isaiah.
I want a hug from everyone.
I never get out the walk by in a circle.
All right, folks, just to remind you real quick, tune in on January 2nd. If you watched Beyond, I don't know if you noticed at the end, it said it's a two-parter. We've got 2 parts coming, so you want to tune back in. Tell all your friends about it. Use hashtag Shadowhunters and Beyond. When you post it on here, on whether it's on Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, wherever, use that hashtag, and we'll make sure we get a retweet for you guys. Thanks so much for coming.